Hello, let's talk about the past. Today I would like to share with you a story of mine, something that happened with me when I was a kid. I think I was about 10 years old. Well, the story is about making kites. And I used to love to play with this. I used to make my own kites and I used to fly them. So one day, I don't remember exactly why, I think I was obsessed with the idea of making kites. I think it was in the beginning of the winter. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't a very cold day, but I remember that it was a cloudy day. But anyway, I didn't pay much attention, of course, to the weather because I was so focused on making my kite that was the only thing I could think of. And so I finished making my kite, a big one, almost as big as me, beautiful colors, and with a very long tail. I don't know if you know this, but at least in São Paulo, where I come from, you make the tail with little strips of plastic. You cut like garbage bags, the plastic garbage bags, and then you make little stripes of plastic, and then you make the tail. So anyway, I had just finished making the kite, and then I had this brilliant idea because, as you can imagine, excited as I was, obsessed as I was with the idea of making kites, I couldn't wait for a more convenient time to fly my kite. So, I had to do it right away. I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to see my beautiful kite flying in the sky. And so I had the brilliant idea of going on the top of the roof of my house. So I lived in a house and we had a flat roof like this. This was the roof above my father's garage where he kept his car. So I climbed onto the roof to fly my kite because, you see, I figured that it would be easy for me to fly the kite over the power line. And I did. I was very successful, and pretty soon my kite was flying high in the sky, and I was very happy about it. What I didn't know is that the weather was changing, and it was changing pretty fast. And then all of a sudden it started raining. Not very heavily, but a few drops started raining. And then I freaked out, and because it was a beautiful big kite, very colorful, and I didn't want to lose it. So I pulled it back as fast as I could, and then I jumped off the roof. And the problem is that when I landed, I guess I lost my balance, and I landed on my arm, breaking it. At the time, I didn't know it was actually broken, but it was very painful. So anyway, I managed to get up, got into the house, had a shower, put my pajamas on, because I knew my mom would be mad at me, when she came home. She came home and found out that I had done something wrong. Went to the living room, turned on the TV, and got under the blankets and stayed there very quietly, very well behaved, like a good boy. Well, I think it must have been like 7 in the evening when my mother arrived. And then she just went like this. She looked at me and said, "What have you done?" Because, you see, she knew immediately that I had done something wrong because I never did that. I never came back home from the street, from playing in the street before 7 p.m. She had to drag me back home every day. I was a good kid, but I liked to play. So anyway, that day I was already in my pajamas by the time she came home that evening, and she knew that something was wrong. So anyway, she asked me what was going on, and I told her that I had jumped from the roof and I hurt and I had hurt my arm, and I didn't know exactly how bad I had hurt myself. So she just touched my arm, and she knew that something was wrong. So she took me to a hospital. Well, and then at the hospital, a doctor examined me. My arm was x-rayed, and then it was immediately established that I had broken it. So he put a cast on my arm and sent me back home for a month and a half. I would have to wait for a month and a half. I would have to wear that cast for a month and a half before I could have it removed. And so that's the story that I wanted to share with you.